But when I'm there, I want to be there, and I feel get better and better at it to engage. So the kid knows that when you're there, you're there.
Hey everyone, Art Eddy here for the Life of Dad Show. Here in the Life of Dad Show, we talk with world-renowned actors, athletes, musicians, entertainers, entrepreneurs, CEOs. They have accomplished many great things in their life, but the one big thing that they are most proud of is being a dad. On this week's episode, we are talking with the one and only Tim Allen. We're talking about his new season of Last Man Standing, now on Fox, and Toy Story 4, and of course, Fatherhood. Big fan of Tim Allen's work, and I was honored to chat with him on the Life of Dad Show. Before we get into the interview, here's a word from our sponsor. The Life of Dad Show is being brought to you by Cabbage Patch Kids. Created by Xavier Roberts, the iconic and beloved Cabbage Patch Kids have touched the hearts and households of millions around the world for over 35 years, with tens of millions of kids adopted. And true to tradition, every Cabbage Patch comes with adoption papers from Babyland General Hospital, with a unique name and a birthday, just like you. Cabbage Patch Kids are currently available at Target, Amazon, Hallmark, and other fine retailers. Visit wickedcooltoys.com/Cabbage Patch Kids. All right, so let's get into it. Here's my interview with the one and only Tim Allen. Enjoy. Hey everyone, Art Eddy here for the Life of Dad Show, and on the line I'm happy to have actor and comedian and dad Tim Allen. Thanks for taking the time to chat with me, Tim. How you doing, sir?
Good, great today. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, man, big fan of your work. Congrats on Last Man Standing premiering on Fox on Friday, September 28th, 8/7 Central. I know a lot of fans are excited to have Mike Baxter and the rest of the crew back on TV. Talk a little bit about when you heard about the news that the show was coming back. What was kind of going through your mind, sir?
I have a weird way of taking bad news. It's kind of this long pause, and when they said they weren't bringing it back late in May and early June of the last year of our going into our seventh season, I was like stunned. I didn't even know how to react to it. And almost the same way when this started putting together, and I was going, and the Fox network said, we really want to have the show on Fox. We don't think it was over, but they were kind of mirroring my position when it left ABC. But Fox didn't have room for it. They're literally stacked. They made room for it, made some allowances, and asked me how I felt about it, and it was like stunned. It was a lot of missed calls. I was traveling, so I said, well, I'm trying to get a call, and I was back on the East. It was too late, and I was back on the West Coast. It was too early, blah, blah, blah. And it was just stunned. I just said, literally, it still hasn't caught up to me.
Sure.
I'm on the set. I'm looking up at the lights. I'm going, I can't believe we're back here. And everything looks exactly the same, although a little bit brighter and cleaner because we were able to make some improvements to the set and the lighting grid, which you folks will see only because the show will look a little bit better. We've always wanted to do this, make the backyard a bit bigger and the garage, move the laundry room and all sorts of stuff that were stage stuff. And the actors outside of Molly Ephraim, who had a previous deal and couldn't get out of it, it's recast. The middle daughter and another great woman, Molly McCook, is there, and she's fabulous, and the family's moving ahead like actors do. It's our job, and Hector Alessandro and I just did a great scene last night, and I'm grateful for the fans that, beyond belief, that didn't give up, and some of us on this side of production never gave up, kept some of the set pieces. It just didn't feel like it was over yet.
Yeah.
It was just kind of premature, and boom, we're back on, and it's the strangest, not ungrateful, but it's the strangest thing. It's like we never left.
Nice. That's fantastic. And, I think one of the biggest questions fans have of the show is, what can they expect? I mean, obviously, we're going to be seeing the show at the end of September, but what can you tell the fans to prepare for as we get ready for this season, sir?
Well, I don't want to give too much away. The first episode is a wink and a nod in a Deadpool sort of way, where we're breaking the wall a lot. We're making jokes about where we were, how we got back. We introduced a new character. We introduced the show.
Nice.
We got 22 minutes to remind people that we're there to entertain. This is and also Baxter, we love supporting this cantankerous University of Michigan graduate, Archie Bunker, if you will. And I keep reminding the writers, he's a very educated he's got a point of view, period. He just grew up with a weird upbringing, and it's like, I don't sure where they grew up, but I've always projected it's more Midwest. So it's a lot of snarky enough about government. I love it. I just love he's not as as snarky as my stand-up. I make jokes all the time. I was an anarchist most of my life as a comedian. I mean, I've never liked paying taxes for stuff I don't use. It's just one of those things. My whole family, I don't know what political party my grandma and great-grandma were, but they were always asking, who's paying for it? Their whole life was, we work hard, and who's paying for this? You know, who bought this? Why do we need this? And they said, and I'm one of those guys. I think the representative form of government's a great idea, but I want a representative form of IRS. That's the highlight of and then Baxter's that same guy, but not quite as snarky because he owns a business. So I love that we have to get involved in Outdoor Man. We have to get involved. There's some great stories. The first three are wonderful to get you up to speed.
Nice. Very cool. And, you played so many great roles, obviously, with Mike Baxter, Last Man Standing, Tim Taylor from Home Improvement, of course, Buzz Lightyear. It's kind of hard because there's so many great things. I almost ask, what's your favorite child? But, I'm going to put you on the spot. Is there one role or comedy tour or something that you are most proud of in your career because of that time and that moment in your career? It meant so much to you. And then, obviously, maybe things kind of had the windfall of getting, in down avenues of other roles or what have you, or stand-up routines. But is there one thing that you kind of look back at your career? I mean, obviously, you're still going strong, but is there one thing that you put more importance in one part of your career than other roles you've landed?
I guess achieving the goal of doing the Tonight Show, and I've got a picture of it right here in my office. I did the Tonight Show twice with Johnny Carson, and I'd gone through a lot of trouble in my life focusing myself and never really thought about it until I read some books on self-help, motivational books by people, some of different race and different sexual, women, men of different races and different sexes, that did things that I loved, but they weren't me. And I realized early on that if you focus and set goals, you can achieve goals. Small goals, large goals are all the same format of focus, do the work, get the goal. And I wanted to be on the Tonight Show. It looked impossible from where I was. When I first started thinking about it. And then I got there, and I got a picture, and that set up so many other things by me focusing on sitting at that desk and having Johnny Carson laugh at me and then single me over, which is the big sign that you were funny. That he'd flag you over the desk, and he did. He flagged me over the desk, and I sat there and sat with Johnny Carson. So that was the moment. So many things up to that were because of focus, and so many things after that were because I did that.
Excellent. Appreciate you sharing that. And, here at Life of Dad, we like to get everybody's take on fatherhood. Before we kind of go into your side of fatherhood, I want to know, from Tim Taylor on Home Improvement and Mike Baxter on Last Man Standing, what parts of Tim Allen as a father in real life have you incorporated into those roles as a dad?
Oh, God. I wish, Tim, I wish I was as engaged with my family as Tim or Mike Baxter is. Because Mike Baxter, you're getting to see a concentrated part, 23 minutes or so, and it's unrealistic to assume that you can do that with cover everything in 22 minutes.
Sure.
In my real daughter, I'm more involved. I'm not as engaged, me, the personal, as Mike Baxter. Mike Baxter's idealized where you can be involved in your family's life. Because we just see the moments that he is there with his kids. In my life, I work, so I'm gone a lot, and that's a hole that you don't fill. That's I'm not there all day with him. That's all there is to it. And in this, you just see moments of that. And Baxter, in a way, mirrors that because he doesn't talk about his kids all the time. He's not doing that. And I said that, but the genius of television is that you're able to do this, that 22 minutes to have an arc of a story. So it's unrealistic. And I said, it's a sitcom. And I said, I wish I could be that engaged at all times.
Definitely. I appreciate your honesty right there. And take me back to the first time that you found out you're going to be a dad. What was going through your mind?
Terrified. I wanted to run as fast as possible. Okay. I literally did not want kids. And it was not a mistake. We knew it was possible. But it was when my daughter showed up. I went to, I came back. It was a couple false labors, and by the time I had dropped her off and then waited, and then she delivered the baby. I was there. Then went home to get some sleep. Came back and saw them both sitting there. I literally go, "What? This is real." And my whole life had been comedy and on the road, and now I was terrified of what this meant. This is real. This doesn't go away.
Yeah.
And all that occurred to me. I was actually so scared that I was nauseous. I stood out. I said I loved them both, and I walked out, and I just said I was scared to death of what does that mean?
Yeah.
I'm not even making a joke. This is not a stray cat or a dog that someone dropped off. This is a child. And what does that mean? And I had missed, my father passed away when I was a really young kid, and I had a lovely stepfather, but I kind of disconnected from parents at a certain age. I wasn't sure what exactly that meant. I kind of raised myself for better or for worse, to be honest with you.
Sure. Gotcha. I appreciate the honesty again on that one as well. And talk about some of the, the values you look to instill into your kids as they're growing up.
It's important in so many things, I feel, for children to be organic and be who they really are and be okay with that. And to see, especially because I've got girls, boys are different. They kind of act out that their manliness quotient, like what is it to they decide what a man is or a boy is, and I mean gender specific if they being politically correct, if they identify as a straight male, what does that mean for them? God knows what it would be, the torment to be a non-straight male. I mean, when you're little, I don't know what that's like. I can only imagine how the confusion that is, because it's confusing enough to be a straight male coming from that point of view, where you go through this horrible phase where you're a little kid and you got aggressive tendencies. Oh my God, you like guns, you like throwing footballs, or you don't, or you're supposed to be like others. And that with daughters is I want them self-awareness, and I think it's real important to really think about being organic, who you are, and be okay with who you are, but don't let the side of you that wants to be like other people, and I for lack of a better term, it's your ego. Don't let the secondary personality. I always tell my daughter, the quiet spiritual side of you is very quiet, and encourage that voice to be a little louder. Let it be louder. Don't judge. Stand away from this. Don't say anything right now. That I always tell her, the quiet voice in me. I always go, what? I'm always going, what? Don't. What? Give the money to that homeless guy? What? But the first thought is the kindness thought. It comes off, because since it's so quiet, it seems weak. It's not weak. It's just quiet. You have to. Somebody said, God never speaks to me, and said, yeah, well, God actually says, I speak to you all the time. I just don't like to interrupt.
Yeah, nice. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I said. I tell my daughter all the time. She goes, you're the conversation, if it's like me, is in your head, gets very loud between you and you. The kindness side of you, the heart side of you, it's like a very beautiful little plant, like a violet. It's there all the time, but you got to encourage it, and don't let the other voice will mimic it. If it thinks it's getting the attention, it'll mimic your spiritual side. It'll look like your spiritual side, but it'll always be wondering what's in it for it. And I want them to be themselves. I want them to, make themselves happy, but also understand that it's a one-way street. You never give that side of you enough. There's never enough for it. You can have everything, and it's still not enough.
Excellent. I appreciate that. And one more question before I hit you up with the Life of Dad Quick 5. For new dads listening to this, or dads-to-be, what is one big piece of advice you'd offer to them?
Oh, boy. When you're engaged, be engaged. I mean, if the best you can, engage. Don't pretend. I mean, even if you have to act as if, but engagement. And if you're not engaged, then disengage. But at least you be as authentic as you can with engagement. And for some of us, myself included, it's very difficult. I'm not comfortable there, and then sometimes. But when I'm there, I want to be there. And I said, and even if being there, I'm acting as if, you'll get better and better at it to engage. So the kid knows that when you're there, you're there.
Definitely. I appreciate that. Now we got the Life of Dad Quick 5. Tim, do you guys have a favorite family movie you all like to watch together?
Sound of Music.
Nice. Favorite song you guys like to sing and dance to as a family, or is there a band that you love to introduce your kids to?
Oh, Lionel Richie, Dancing on the Ceiling.
Nice. Love it.
Can't stop.
Nice. Describe the perfect family vacation. Where would it be?
We go to a little cottage in Leland, Michigan, and it's right on the Lake Michigan. We have a beautiful little area of the beach, and we got places. And all three of us, my older daughter's now in our own life, but the young one, she likes to golf with us. We all like to do that together.
Excellent. And a lot of people, myself included, are very excited for Toy Story 4. Talk to me about your impressions of the film, and also, too, what is Buzz Lightyear's best character trait?
Buzz will go backwards. His best character trait is he's a little distracted, so he comes off as dim. And I can't give you the line, but there's a new character in the Toy Story 4 that everybody cares about, and Buzz just offside. He'll just, like, he does, I'm not giving the line, but he'll just said, like, very flat, I think he's in great danger. But everybody's, where is he? I think he's in great danger. And I like the fact that Buzz says things calmly, and it kind of settles it down. But my God, everybody, the house is on fire, but Buzz would go, I think the house is on fire. And I love the fact that he's calm about stuff. Toy Story 4, continue on the path they're on, and they're very early in my end of it, but I've read the whole thing and got all the way to the end, and it's a magical experience when they can get past Toy Story 3, which was wonderful. Yeah. Wonderful movie on every level. This is expanded, clever, funny. It's Avengers 4 if you like big movies. Avengers 4 I love, or 3, whatever the last one was.
Infinity War, right? Yeah, Infinity War, yeah.
Infinity War had so many vignettes, but each vignette was a great little movie in itself, and they all fit together. And I said, I love all that stuff. It's big a bit. I have jokes about all the time. It's a bit much. It looks like a costume party sometimes. When you have too many superheroes standing, you're going, where do you guys get these uniforms? Who makes this stuff? Where did the Ant-Man get it? Who makes it? It wasn't Michael Douglas. There's no sewing machine in that movie. Who made that? They had to go someplace, and he has to go, no, more like an ant. No, a wasp. The wasp is the theme. Well, who makes these things? Right. But anyway, that said, the Toy Story 4 is very much like that. It's wonderful, and it ties it all together, and I can't give away any more. That's it. It's just wonderful.
I appreciate that. And lastly, in regards to stand-up, do you have a favorite venue you love to perform at?
This year, no, I haven't done Texas yet. I haven't done Austin, actually, and I'm doing Sugarland too. I like Texas, number one, period, for a lot of different reasons. But I have to say I did the Ryman in Nashville, where Elvis played. And I'm telling you what, I didn't like it when I first walked in there because it was daylight and we had to do a sound check and there was stained glass. It's a church. I felt weird about performing my performance in a church. But that night, those wooden pews packed, and it was Elvis, the Righteous Brothers, Minnie Pearl, Charlie Pride. You see all the pictures. I was overwhelmed at the actors, the acts that have been on that stage, and we smoked that room, and it was a great show. And I love Nashville, and I performed there many times, but the Ryman in Nashville was a special experience.
Excellent. Thank you very much for sharing that. People, make sure you follow Tim on Twitter at OFC Tim Allen. Go to timallen.com and check out Last Man Standing, premiering on Fox Friday, September 28th at 8, 7 Central. Tim, it's been an honor chatting with you. Big fan of your work, and continued success in the future, sir.
Thank you, my friend.
All right, you take care.
Thanks so much for listening to the Life of Dad Show. You know where to find us, lifeofdad.com, and on Twitter and Facebook.
Noise you couldn't quite locate or explain. Couldn't quite locate.